Howdy YouTube, some huge news today, and that is of course Bellator and Rizin signing the axe murderer Wanderlei Silva to a multi-fight contract. Absolutely wrapped, really excited to see Wanderlei back in the octagon, or the ring as it may be. I thought I'd do this figure review. I thought it was appropriate timing. Today we're taking a look at the Jakks UFC Pride flashback figure from Series 9, Pride Final Conflict 2003. The middleweight champion, Wanderlei Silva. This really cool figure. I was a huge fan of the Jakks UFC figure line. Really upset that isn't still going. We got some great figures, and a lot of those were the Pride flashback figures. We got Kevin the Monster Randleman, of course, Mauricio Shogun Rua, Wanderlei Silva, a Chuck Liddell Pride figure. I thought that one was really cool. To get my hands on this was not hard. I basically got it from my local figure shop by pure chance, which is always really cool. I love that it comes with the Pride middleweight belt. That is a really cool looking championship. As you can see, it is from Series 9, one of the last waves of UFC figures that we got. Wanderlei Silva, I mean, just known for his explosive power, was a legend in Pride, legend in Japan. Unfortunately, not as good in the UFC, which is a bit of a shame. Not bad at the UFC. I don't think they treated him with the same star power that he had in Japan. Certainly, he had some great fights with Chuck Liddell in the UFC, and a lot of other fights as well. Got banned, a lifetime ban from the Nevada State Athletic Commission. That has been overturned. Now, I was reading somewhere that it's not actually until 2017, early 2017, that he can apply for a new license to fight in Las Vegas in the state of Nevada. However, because the MMA ban was overturned, he can actually compete in other states in America and other places around the world, such as Japan. So I think it's really cool that Bellator signed him. Very excited to see what happens moving forward. I attended the first ever Rizin show for New Year's Eve, and that was brilliant. The return of Fedor, just something about the spectacle and the flashback with Pride that I've always loved. For me, the UFC is the best fighters in the world, but that doesn't necessarily equate to the best entertainment. And I'll use the example with pro wrestling. The Undertaker still isn't the most athletic wrestler. There's a lot of younger guys, a lot of better wrestlers who can perform better things in the ring, but you still pay to watch The Undertaker because it's The Undertaker and he's got that mystique. And Pride is a little bit like that. Each of the fighters are treated like a star. Yes, it's not always the best fighters in the world, but having said that, you get legendary fights and you get great action as well. So we'll get this guy opened up and hopefully give you guys a cool review. Now, in terms of packaging, it comes in the semi-octagon style packaging, but obviously with a Pride theme behind it. As you can see, nice shot on the back of Wanderlei Silva delivering a knee to Rampage Jackson. That's pretty cool there. Stats on the back. At the time this figure came out, he was 34 years old. I think now he's nearly 40. 84 kilos, so he's a big guy. I love that. Submissions, 74%. Submissions, 13%. Striking was 72%. Definitely very explosive. It's just something about his style that's just very dynamic to see, and you love just watching his hands explode. Very entertaining. Other figures in the set, we've got Tito Ortiz, Vitor the Phenom Belfort, Shogun Rua, and Brock Lesnar. Series 9 was actually a home run. Any one of those figures, and I've reviewed quite a lot of them, are really great to have to your collection. So let's get Wanderlei out of packaging. Okay, and here we've got Wanderlei opened up and out of packaging. Definitely a really cool figures. Probably one of my favourite UFC figures that we've gotten. I think Jakks did a brilliant job with sculpting the body and the face as well. I will bring in the Jakks UFC Wanderlei Silva so you guys can see the difference. There's quite a substantial difference in the two figures. We'll start by taking a look at the Pride figure. I think Jakks did a brilliant job on that face. Definitely looks like Wanderlei Silva. Nice detail on the hair and everything as well. That's one thing Jakks always managed to do a really good job of, was getting a good face scan, at least in my opinion. And just for comparison, I've got the UFC Wanderlei Silva. This face scan is actually fantastic too. I actually normally hate the open mouth face scans. This figure is the exception. I think they did a great job of capturing Wanderlei in a really angry pose. Moving down through the figure, obviously you can see the legendary blue Pride gloves. Looks very nice. Shoot Boxing Academy has had a lot of great fighters on the over the years. Chic, not sure what they do. Some more sponsors on the side. Taking a look at the back. I mean, there's some nice detail here, that's for sure. Moving down, he's got a little bit of a sleeker body build. Yeah, I know it is the same. It seems for whatever reason the muscle definition isn't as defined as it is on the Jakks UFC figure. Moving down as well, you can see some detail there. So, what have we got for articulation? We've got the standard UFC articulation, which means ball jointed head, swivel in the elbow, swivel bicep, bend at the elbow, swivel wrist, swivel in the hand, ab crunch, swivel waist, swivel in the legs, swivel in the thigh, double bend at the knee, and ball jointed ankle. So a ton of movement, which is what you want for your UFC figures. And just for comparison, you can see this figure is actually quite a bit smaller than the light heavyweight body style that we got with the earlier Jakks figures. He is actually about the same height as a lot of the heavyweight figures that we've gotten. I got a custom Fedor at the back there. I know it is not the greatest. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But yeah, definitely a really cool figure. If you can find this guy, I think it's well worth picking up. I think he's going to be really exciting in Rizin and Bellator. They'll put on some great fights. I wouldn't mind now that Rampage Jackson has gone back, seeing a Rampage Wanderlei fight again. That could be quite entertaining. There's a lot of cool things they could do with him. They could put him in a tournament like the old school Pride days. I'm not really sure what's going to happen, but definitely exciting times to be a fan of MMA, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed this review on the Jakks Pride flashback from Final Conflict 2003, the Axe Murderer, Wanderlei Silva. Now that's normally where I would end the review, except this guy comes with something else, something a little special, and that is the Pride Middleweight Grand Prix Championship belt. Check that out. That is some great detail. Probably my favorite Jakks belt released, and I know they've released some great wrestling belts and stuff like that, but just the level of detail and everything on here is really cool. The only drawback that I don't like with the Jakks belts is the strip at the back and the mechanism for which you open and close it. Other than that, though, this thing looks beautiful. And here we go, the Pride Middleweight Champion with his belt, a really cool figure, and I'll see you guys soon with more reviews.